This is the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series, and we're getting our Irish on. It is St. Patrick's Day weekend at the time of this episode, and Victoria Johnston, a well-known and very popular Irish singer, songwriter, chart-topping singer, songwriter, and award-winning composer, is our special guest, and she's got a new CD out, which is very exciting. That's coming out, and we're really excited about that and so much more. Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day weekend, everybody. To those that are watching on St. Patrick's Day, we realize that, we do these shows and then we archive them. So you might be watching this on Easter or 4th of July or in August or whenever you're watching it. But if you're watching it as we're airing it on St. Patrick's Day weekend, hey, we're all ready to go with the green lighting, and we've got our shamrock, we've got our green Irish scarf coming down the monitor. And of course, I'm Irish on my father's mother's side of the family. They hail from Ireland and they settled in New York City. And then they branched out from there. And there's, of course, English in our family on my father's side, the Masters side. And there's some Scottish in there as well. And yeah, cool stuff. Wherever you're watching around the world, we welcome you to the Jim Masters Show. I am your host, Jim Masters. Easy to figure that out. We have done hundreds of episodes of our series. And if this is your first time joining us on our Celebrity Talk Show series, we welcome you. It's cool to have you here. We're going to have some music. We're going to have some great conversation. You are willing and able, if you are willing and able, and if you'd like to comment during the show, guess what? You can do that. We have the JMS Lovely Hall chat room, and that is open right now when the show is on. And that is not the comment section underneath the episode. This is the actual chat room that is open when the show is airing. So that's open right now, and you can chat as the show is airing. And that is open to our subscribers of our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, where we house all of these episodes. And our guests, for those watching for the first time, because we're always getting new viewers, so I'm always sort of, acquainting people with this amazing show, even though we've done it almost 3 years now and hundreds of episodes. Our guests come from all different backgrounds, celebrity friends, and a lot of cool guests from an international pool of guests as well, from Hollywood and Broadway and television, music, stage, film, sports, comedy, culinary arts, inspiration, health and wellness, and all of life. And as far as Irish artists are concerned, wow, we have had a mega load of incredible Irish-themed guests that have included Sir James Galway and Lady Jean Galway and Phil Coulter, Celtic Thunder and Celtic Woman and the High Kings, and so many extraordinary Irish-themed artists. Foster and Allen have been here. They're legends in Ireland and the UK. The Byrne brothers have been with us as well, and Damien McGinty has been here several times. Ron Kelly, Neil Byrne has been here. Oscar Blue, George Hutton, Paul Byram, Keith Harkin, Rebecca Harkin. It's been extraordinary, and that's just the short list of Irish guests who have been guests here on the Jim Masters Show. Some I've interviewed here in America, which is where this show comes from, the United States, on television, on public television, PBS, and elsewhere. I've emceed many of their concerts, served as master of ceremonies. I've welcomed people on stage. I've done meets and greets with a lot of the Irish artists. So when we started this show, they all said, "I want to come on your show, Jim." So they are very, very very supportive, and we're very appreciative of their love for what we're doing here at the Jim Masters Show. And again, many guests have been here, Irish or not, multiple times. But this is the very first time for Victoria Johnston, and we are so excited to have her here. Coming to us from Dublin, Ireland, she's extraordinary. Let me tell you a little bit about her as we welcome all of you. We do hope you're having, for those that are watching this on St. Patrick's Day weekend, we hope you're having a beautiful St. Patrick's Day weekend. St. Patrick's Day, absolutely beautiful. We, of course, had that corned beef and cabbage and boiled potato dinner with the carrots. Yes. And a little Guinness, a little Baileys, and of course, time at church and the parades and all the beautiful things that happen here where we are in the United States. If you're watching for the first time, our show generates and originates from the New York area. the New York tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. So we welcome everybody watching here in America. We welcome everybody that's watching in Canada to the north, our friends in Mexico, all across South America. And we also welcome all of our viewers who are watching in Europe right now. Hello to everybody in Ireland, Scotland, United Kingdom, of course, Northern Ireland and England and Wales, and all of our friends in Sweden and Norway and Finland, all throughout Scandinavia. We've got quite an audience in Italy, Greece, France, Spain, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary. It's amazing, all throughout Europe. And also in Asia, we welcome everybody, Africa, and also Australia and New Zealand. If you're watching there as well, thanks for joining us. You're all welcome to join us here on the show. So again, our guest is extraordinary. We're so excited. It's been a really terrific Irish-themed weekend here on the Jim Masters Show. Now, Victoria is an independent artist. She's also a 2021 Grammy shortlisted singer, songwriter, award-winning composer from Dublin, Ireland. Victoria is an independent, self-managed artist. She began her classical training at the age of 9 at the Royal Irish Academy of Music, where she received an entrance scholarship and subsequent annual scholarships until she was 18, which is really something special. Victoria Johnston then continued her classical music training in college at the Tug Conservatory in Dublin and holds a fabulous degree, a BMUS, music, of course, competition, and also an MPhil, as they call it there, in creative, and that's, of course, masters, in creative, and I love that name, masters. I'm very partial to masters, in creative and cultural entrepreneurship from Trinity College, Dublin. Following her graduation from college, Victoria won the Young Composers Competition at the West Cork Chamber Music Festival for her string quartet composition titled Transience, also gaining singing experience with several of Ireland's leading and award-winning chamber choirs as well. She launched her solo music career in March 2020 with the release of her debut singles. We're going to talk about that. Also, the lyrics and music for both singles were composed by Victoria and recorded by Grammy-nominated producer Dennis Woods. The material that we're going to be sharing with you here on the show both reached #1 in the overall top iTunes charts, which is amazing. And that's in Ireland. We're talking about You Are the Peace and Tarlium, and both original songs were shortlisted for the 63rd Grammy Awards in 2021. And Tarlium was shortlisted for Song of the Year alongside nominated artists, including Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and Billie Eilish. That's right. Her song was right there, shortlisted with Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and Billie Eilish. You Are the Peace was shortlisted for both Song of the Year and Contemporary Christian Music Song of the Year alongside Dolly Parton and Torrin Wells. Victoria released her third debut single, Land of Hope, on Friday, October 9th, 2020. And that was also co-produced by Grammy-nominated producer Dennis Woods, who's worked with Clannad and Enya, and as well AC/DC. And also Ferdia Walsh-Pilo, who's worked with Sing Street and Vikings, and many others. In 2021, Victoria released a cover single of From a Distance, with From a Distance being a smash hit as well. Of course, you know the Bette Midler version, right, in 1990. And she also teamed up with Billy Farrell, producer of The Corrs, and Brian Kennedy, who arranged and produced the single. Her music has received Irish radio airplay with stations including BBC Radio, Ulster, RTE Radio, and much, much more. And she's been interviewed on Irish Daily, Star, The Sunday World, RTE Entertainment, Woman's Way, Irish World, and newspapers and TV networks, and so much more, including Hot Press magazine. And in 2022, she partnered with the Irish charity Fields of Life to create and fundraise for a pilot music education program initiative called Music for Life for 2 fields of life schools in Uganda. And the fundraiser and pilot program was for the procurement of music instruments and music education programs. I think that's beautiful work, isn't it? The fundraiser is complete and the rollout of the program currently taking place. She's also the founding member of the Irish group Celtic Calling. Going to have them all on the show, all of Celtic Calling on the show as well. I'd love to have them here. Celtic Calling officially launched in the summer of 2022. And since then, they've had #1 iTunes Ireland singles with their interpretation of Irish Celtic classic, The Parting Glass, and their concert performances that have included sold out shows in Ireland and in London, England. It's pretty cool, huh? That's just the short list of some of the extraordinary things that my special guest on this episode, Victoria Johnston, has done and continues to do. Maybe you didn't know she was part of Celtic Calling. Absolutely. She's absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, there is the group. There's a great shot of everybody there. But we're going to be talking today about her new music and all the other things that she's doing. There's Celtic Calling as well. And there's From a Distance. And there she is in the studio. Yep, more great shots in the studio. And of course, having fun. Great music, great shots, great spirit as we celebrate our very special guest, Victoria Johnston, who's joining us again from beautiful Ireland. All right, gang. So you guys ready now that you've got the scoop on who our guest is? I know you're all excited. We absolutely love that. Join me in welcoming, direct from beautiful Ireland, this St. Patrick's Day weekend in her studio, Victoria Johnston. Victoria, welcome to the Jim Masters Show.
Hello. Greetings from Dublin.
Oh, it's great to have you here from Dublin. That introduction that I did is kind of like something you get at the Oscars, huh?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I was like, who is that girl? I want to meet her.
And there's more. I just wanted to get you on, before, because there's so much that you've done and continue to do as the chart-topping singer and songwriter and award-winning composer that you are. Welcome and happy St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Yes. Oh, it's so exciting. Thank you so much. What a great weekend to be joining you. Thanks so much for having me.
So for those that are watching here in the States and in Canada and elsewhere, what is St. Patrick's Day weekend, or what's St. Patrick's Day and then St. Patrick's Day weekend like right there in Ireland?
Yeah, well, today it's unfortunately raining, but that's kind of typical Ireland. But what we have is we have parades taking place right across the country. So, like all the families and all the children are out with their face painted green, and there's St. Patrick's characters on stilts going around the streets and everything. So, a lot of fun, a lot of joy, and yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Have you ever marched in a St. Patrick's Day parade at all as a
I
performer?
have
Or
not.
yeah,
I have not, but there are so many American marching bands that come to Dublin for this weekend, and they're incredible. And there's TV footage of them marching along the main streets in Dublin city centre, and they always just do such a great job.
they really do. Yeah, we take it seriously here too in the States with all of the extraordinary parades across the country. And of course, the big one that is in New York City. I've had an opportunity on several occasions over the years to march in that parade, marched in it with our high school, marched in it um, when I was in the color guard, which is the very front of the group that you're with, when I was in high school with the United States Air Force ROTC. I was in the Air Force ROTC when I was also in high school, and I was in the color guard. So the color guard, of course, for those watching, they're at the front of the line for the group that they're with, and they're usually the ones holding the flags. And if there's like those white hard vinyl rifles type thing as they're marching proudly. So we did that. We had to do the flips, throw the rifles in the air and flip them and catch them. And God bless those that have to hold the huge flags, especially if it's windy. It's
Yes.
like the Thanksgiving Day parade, Macy's, and all the people that try to hold the strings for the floats, and then the
Yeah.
floats are going. It could get a little interesting. And just a couple years ago, I had an opportunity to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade in New York City, and it was absolutely fantastic. And then the second the parade ends, everybody heads for the hills and they go to all the Irish bars and all the Irish pubs. And there is literally, we went to a couple of them with friends afterwards because I was asked by a friend who's in New York from Ireland originally. She asked me if I wanted to march with her contingent, which was County Cork. And I said, sure. And, we did the Irish breakfast in the morning. We went to St. Patrick's Cathedral for the Mass.
Nice.
We went to the Irish American Center, where they had some wonderful events the day before. But she asked me if I wanted to march with County Cork. And I said, absolutely. So I've told this story before. It's kind of cool tying into this holiday weekend. We're marching down Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, in New York City, on St. Patrick's Day, or it was just before it, I think. And it was beautiful and it was sunny, and everybody, the streets, this is before the pandemic, before that. And there were lines of people cheering Irish proud, the flags, and people in lawn chairs, and kids and grandparents. And you saw everybody. Everybody's waving and cheering, and we're marching along, and the bands are going, and everybody's having a great time. So I'm marching with County Cork, and it's noisy. There's music and yelling, and everybody's happy, cheering. So I'm marching along, and I hear people yelling from the sides as we're marching, and we're waving and smiling and everything. Up, up something. So I said, I wonder what they're saying. I can't make out. It's so noisy with the bands and the marching bands and everything, and the penny whistles and everything that we heard. I couldn't fully make out what they were saying. So they were going like this, and it almost, with the noise and the marching and the cheering and the laughter, it almost sounded. Now, I said we are in New York, and they are very expressive. I said they can't be saying up yours, are they? Up yours? I said they can't be saying that, could they? And I thought maybe that's what they were saying. So I was waving and smiling, and I was saying, as they were doing that, I was saying, you too, and you too, to the kids and the grandmothers and all these people that were saying this. And my friend, she gives me a little elbow as we're marching, and she goes, Jim, what do you think they're saying? I don't know, but I hope they're. It sounds, because of the noise and everything, up yours, up something that sounds like that. That's the only thing I can think of, right? And she goes, "That's not what they're saying." I said, well, what are they saying? She said, "They're saying up cork, up
Ah,
cork." I said, "They are? I've never heard of that sort of way of doing up this or up
yeah,
Cork or up Donegal or up Dublin, but
yeah,
that's what they do." And
mhm,
so I learned something at that parade
yeah. You'll have to come to the Irish parade sometime in Dublin.
because it's up everything. So now I know that the grandmothers weren't saying up yours. They were saying up Cork, because I was asked to join the Cork contingent with my friends and march along with them, which was kind of them. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's a busy weekend around here. And have you been performing? I know that we've come out of the lockdowns and all
Yeah.
of that. Things have opened up and have become much more accessible. Have you been able to do performances and things of that nature now?
Yeah, thankfully, because actually Ireland had the biggest lockdowns
You
out of
guys, it
all
was
of Europe.
tough. It
Yeah,
was tough.
and
Yeah.
so yeah, since kind of last summer, performances have been back, which is just brilliant. Yeah, so it's really exciting. And yeah, it's just there's so much like extra, I think, appreciation as a performer, but also from the audience, that there's just that like extra appreciation of getting to enjoy ourselves in that capacity.
Now, do you on St. Patrick's Day weekend, do you have the traditional dinners that we have here? Do you have the I've never been in Ireland at the time of St. Patrick's Day weekend. I really wish that I was there at that time. Um, we've had television projects and shoots and stuff, but not where it's been around the St. Patrick's Day time. Do you have the corned beef and cabbage and boiled potatoes and carrots and all of
Well,
that?
my dad bought in some cabbage the other evening. So we did have cabbage and but we had baked potatoes. And yeah, there and then you'll go into the stores and there's like cupcakes with like green icing all over them. And
Yes, I heard the cupcakes are really big. We had a couple of Irish guests recently, and they said that the cupcakes are a big thing in Ireland, especially around this time of the year.
yeah, yeah, and it's just everything's kind of food coloring going into everything, and it's good fun though. I have to say, I'm not as big a fan as the cabbage as my dad is, but we add it in the house just to keep him happy.
You have the corned beef with it too?
I'm actually vegetarian, so
Does he eat the corned beef?
not so much, not so
Yeah.
much. But yeah, we're into yeah, certainly the cabbage. We're big potato fans
The
in this house in
carrots and
State.
all the
So yeah,
peas
all
and
the veg and all the different types of potato as well, like mashed, boiled,
what's your
fried.
favorite? I love mashed potatoes. I keep saying, that's the real Irish man. I love my potatoes. People keep saying, I keep saying to people, if God ever said, Jim, I am taking, or I should say, Seamus, right? Seamus.
Yeah.
James is in Irish is Seamus. Uh, if I'm going to pull you out of earth and I'm going to put you on an island somewhere all by yourself the rest of your life, and you're going to pick one food you can eat, it's going to be mashed potatoes for me.
Really? Wow. Well, I love a good roast potato. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, but mash is a winner as well.
It's very, very good. Yes, I know. My mother makes some of the best. She puts a little bit, just a little hint. It makes them a little more golden. She puts a little hint of evaporated milk in them when making them, which makes them creamy. And it's just an ever slight golden sweet, just a little tiny, tiny bit, as opposed to them just tasting dry and just
Yeah.
plain. And they are extraordinarily good. And we've all tried to mimic how she makes them, but boy, on Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those holidays, I look forward to them.
Yeah, absolutely. They sound really good.
It's an interesting way that she's always made it for years and years and years and still does. And it's just everybody goes wild. There's never enough. And my father and I have always, my father, uh, there'll be a big bowl like on the table, and he'll have the bowl and he's putting it on the plate. And then he'll have had the first round of it. And then we're passing, everything around, and he'll have the bowl in his hand again. And he'll say, does anybody want, more or seconds? And we know that inside he's hoping that we all say no so he can finish them off. And now I've become that way.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Your family sounds great.
Yeah, we always like to gather for holidays, and it's very, very important. And we've always surrounded ourselves with music too, as you have. And your household, were you surrounded by music, all kinds of music, growing up? Because I know a lot of the guests who've come through the Jim Masters show, especially the ones who are from Ireland originally and also Scotland, they'll say things like, Jim, when you grow up here, when you're a child, they either hand a flute, penny whistle, a guitar, a violin, a fiddle in your hand, or you're going to be singing. How about for you early on?
Yeah, well, my main instrument growing up was the piano, and I actually come from a line of like a four generational line of female piano players. So I was definitely playing the piano from a very, very young age. But I had this childminder when I was a kind of baby toddler, and apparently I was singing the full soundtrack to The Sound of Music before I could even properly string sentences speaking together. So anyway, my childminder was just like astounded at this. So mum always jokes with me that I was actually singing before I could talk. So yeah, but yeah, definitely grew up with a lot of encouragement, especially in specifically in piano, but my heart was always more in singing. So
So singing for you was very, very big. So when you were a kid, what were you singing? What kind of music, what kind of songs were you singing? Were you
yeah,
singing what you were
well,
hearing on the radio, or was there other music that was tickling your fancy?
yeah, well, I kind of have this recollection of always just going on these really long road trips across Ireland. And that was the time when you had like, the tape player, the CD player, and you just listen to the same CD over and over again. And actually, we listened to a lot of Elton John, Barbara Streisand, of course, U2. So yeah, just yeah, kind of a lot of kind of mainstream kind of pop songs, but my parents would be really big fans of Neil Diamond and Leonard Cohen. So I kind of grew up listening to, those amazing songwriters as well.
Did you listen to classical music? Was that on in the house, or was that something that you, once you heard classical music, you took a liking to?
Yeah, it would have been part of the kind of we would have had like a lot of music scores from like Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin, Debussy in the house that my mum would be playing. Mum would also have had like hymn books as well. So
Mm.
all the kind of classical kind of church music was a big influence in the house. And but yeah, I just, yeah, really kind of, I think, I suppose, inspiring. You don't kind of maybe appreciate it as a kid, but like when you kind of reflect on being immersed in listening to some of the best songwriters ever, I feel really grateful that my parents were so musically orientated in supporting me as well.
That's fantastic. So you've had that musical exposure and inspiration early on, which I think is fantastic, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and of course, with the music training I had, my mum was actually a piano teacher, so I think that sometimes can really help as well as a kid,
Yes.
because she would have made sure I was doing my practice and encouraging me, and I do think if there's like supportive parents that have a musical background themselves, that's a really great asset.
Yes, it
So,
is.
but we would have gone to like concerts as well, like the National Concert Hall in Dublin, and going to like shows. Like I would have gone to London as a kid and seen like some of the West End shows. And yeah, so also like really a big fan of musical theater, Les Mis, Phantom of the
Mm.
Opera, Evita, all those kind of classic shows. They're absolutely amazing.
Those Broadway shows and so much more. You started, as I mentioned at the top of the show, you started your classical training at the age of 9 at the Royal Irish Academy of Music, where you had received an entrance scholarship and subsequent annual scholarships until you were 18. Tell us about that. That's quite a glorious thing, huh?
Yeah, very grateful. Because obviously with the scholarships, they cover a lot of your fees every year, and I would have got yeah, scholarships for particularly for my piano playing, even the kind of musicianship and theory writing side of music. Got several scholarships for that as well, and then yeah, once I um then decided obviously that I wanted to continue it in college. And then I was lucky enough then in my master's to get the scholarship to sing with one of the kind of chamber choirs in Trinity College, Dublin. So yeah, it's kind of a real kind of brilliant upbringing, I suppose, and being exposed to great teachers and competitions where the standard was really high, would push you to keep going as well. So
Absolutely right. I've always said that it's very good to have a master's in your life. And I was born with my master's, so we were ahead of the game. And then you continued the classical training at the conservatory in Dublin, right? And you have several degrees in it: composition, creative and cultural entrepreneurship, Trinity College in Dublin. Tell us about some of that as you were enhancing your training along the way.
Yeah, so it was real interesting because, you covered such a broad amount of subjects. There was composition, music technology, the history of music, all the kind of ear training side of things, and then piano, singing, and everything. So it was very, very broad. But for my final year, you could choose what strand you wanted to do. So whether that was like music education, again, like the history end of things. But I really wanted to go the kind of compositional route because I just had, I just wanted to be creative and try and get the most out of the degree, like learn the most I could as well before graduating. And I felt that was going to help. So it was really interesting. We got to work with different musicians as well that would come in, and we would like write scores, and we'd work with these amazing musicians that were part of like the RT or concert orchestra here,
Mhm.
and they'd come in and do workshops with us. And so I just found it really interesting, very diverse, very exciting. Very fond memories of it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Did you start out as a solo artist, or was Celtic Calling first for you?
So I kind of, when I graduated, I sang with leading chamber choirs, or got recruited into chamber choirs from people that would have heard me sing. And then I worked with kind of, a few different music groups and bands, like doing backing vocals and keys and all that type of thing, playing some festivals and concerts involved. And I just kind of really wanted to focus on that. Like I really had just knew that what I wanted to be doing was writing my own songs, releasing it as so material. But actually some of the chamber choirs I'd been singing with were writing singing some of the music I had written, one which was Tarlum, and I was kind of thinking, well, actually, I think I would like to go into studio and record that myself, because when we would perform it at concerts, everyone would be coming up saying, what was that song? Who wrote that? Like it was
Mhm.
really, really well received as a song. So I was kind of like, look, this is my baby of a, a song. So I'm gonna
Yes.
release it myself. And kind of naturally through that, Celtic Calling evolved out of that as well. And the two girls that are in Celtic Calling with me, we actually all sang together in one of these chamber choirs, but we all just have such a passion for Irish and Celtic music. And it's also an avenue that I can be, writing songs for, original songs. We sing covers of Celtic and Irish songs, but I'll also write a lot of originals for us as well, which is I just really enjoy it. Oh, there they are. Love those girls. So it's really great to be with the group, and then doing my own solo stuff, and as a group collectively we all do that as well. We're all in the group, and we all kind of have our own music projects going on as well. So it's really nice. A really nice atmosphere in the group. We're all great creatives as well.
That's fantastic. So that's great to have sort of your own thing and then also have the group. For you, um, do you have a preference? Some people love the performance part, they love being the singer, and others have a real love for the songwriting. How about you? Does one speak to your heart and soul more than the other, or are they equal for you, Victoria?
I would actually say they're fairly equal. I love being on the stage. I love performing. I love getting to perform, arrangements or my own music. That's so special when you get to deliver the song that you've written. But I also just love songwriting, and I write all my songs at the piano, so they kind of they form kind of together at the same time. Sometimes it's the lyrics first, sometimes it's the melody, the chord progressions first, or sometimes they just arrive both at the same time, which is always great when that happens.
It's amazing how that happens, right?
Yeah, but obviously, with all the lockdowns, especially there were so many lockdowns here in Ireland, it afforded me, I suppose, a lot of extra songwriting time, which filtered into now my debut album that's going to be coming out at the end of May, but also in terms of the Celtic Calling repertoire as well.
That's very exciting. Like you said, debut album. When you say that phrase, are you tingling?
Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah, and it's great. I'm really, really excited. And yeah, Tarlum is it literally got released just this St. Patrick's weekend in America, which is so exciting. And
Yes.
this is the kind of single, the kind of main single before the album comes out at the end of May.
Tell us
So
what that means, the title, what that actually means.
yeah, so Tarlum, that translates into follow me. So
Follow
that's
me.
this is the main kind of Irish single. So this was the song that got shortlisted for the Grammy Awards. And I was like, I've got to put this album
How
sorry, this
cool
song
is
on the
that?
debut album, but it's going to be an album of all originals. The album's called Where the Lights Glow. And yeah, really exciting to but Tarlum is it's all in Irish, so it's all Ascuelga. But it's the only fully song in the Irish language on the album. The rest of the album, all the lyrics are in English.
Here's another fantastic one, huh?
So Forever in the End, yeah, that is that's coming out actually in Ireland ahead of the album. So that's going to be released in Ireland next week. So yeah, really excited about that. Goodness, it's lovely seeing that photo again, the Irish Aaron jumper there. And
Yes, I tell
yeah,
you, you look very cozy, comfortable, and snug.
yeah, well, you got to be in this cold Irish weather. It doesn't warm
Yes,
up until about May or June. So
that is funny. That's another great, and that is like in the spring or summertime. That you ever
it
do any
is.
modeling at all?
No, I've never done modeling, but I'm
Surprised.
actually
Yeah.
I'm wearing the same dress. I
Is
just
that the
realized
same as that shot?
it is. I decided for you, just for you, Jim, that I would wear
Would wear the
the
same?
main dress that was the cover of Tarlum. So I
And
haven't worn it since the photos got taken. So
and
this is
people might not realize that we actually it may look darker, but we both have like I have green. Mine is green and
yeah,
blue. So we've got that nice
mine's
green and
kind of a
blue,
very
and
dark.
yours is like a dark green. So we do
Yeah,
have the Irish green on.
yeah.
It just might on some monitors or people's cameras, it might look
I should have had green lighting now in the background, but anyway, we'll keep that for the live shows.
you did this too from a distance, I mentioned, huh?
Yeah, from a distance. Yeah, I really enjoyed taking that song on, and it was amazing to get to work with Billy Farrell on it. So as you mentioned, Billy Farrell, he's like worked with the Coors, Brian Kennedy, and he just did a fabulous arrangement of this song. And yeah, it just felt kind of very timely as well. Like I felt kind of like a female artist hadn't taken it on in a while, and we tried to kind of bring like a fresh interpretation that had like some elements of kind of a Celtic influence coming through it as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed working on that.
That is fantastic. And yeah, paying homage to Bette Midler and some of the others have interpreted that. It is a very moving and beautiful song, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just kind of, I think with everything that's kind of been happening in the world the last few years, it just kind of felt, you know, a kind of song like full of hope. It's a good kind of positive anthem, that kind of way. So I really enjoyed getting into the studio to do that. And it was the only time actually that I've taken on a cover. Usually everything I do, it's all originals, unless it's like a really old Irish, Celtic tune that would, be an ancient song, but I hadn't ever kind of covered more contemporary pop songs. So yeah, I really actually enjoyed that. Yeah, it was good.
Did you ever see the original music? Not the music, but the movie Beaches, which it comes from?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you got to see that. You could probably see it on, one of the streaming channels or
Okay.
YouTube, or yeah, it's very powerful. It's
Okay.
there's a reason for that song, and it's really I don't want to give too much away on it, but it is really a very powerful reason for that song. Really, really a beautiful, beautiful song. Um, so what was the process like? You're putting the album together, and one of the hardest things I always hear from people who have done albums, or in this case, CDs, what have you, is narrowing down the songs. You start with like 30, and then you've got to get it down to like 14 or 10 or 9 or what have you, and
Yeah.
knowing what to pick and what to include. You want to put everything on, but then they can only fit so much on there. How did that work for you as far as deciding what to have on it so the songs sort of relate to one another, and the creation? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, so it was a process, and I think sometimes you want to um not put everything in an album and hold some back, for a potential follow-up album, or if there's a certain kind of vision or project that you have that a certain song you think might suit better at a later date. So yeah, I just the songs, there's going to be 9 songs. There are 9 songs because it's finished now. And yeah, I think the ones that I decided to go on the album were all ones that I felt gel together in terms of they're kind of there's definitely like crossover of like Celtic, Irish, and pop influences kind of all gelling together. And yeah, I suppose trying to um put when it's your debut album, you're trying to put your best foot forward musically as well. But I did hold some back, some that maybe were a little bit more extra resonance of Irish heritage. I've held some of them back. But yeah, I'm really excited about this album. Yeah, definitely. I think there'll be maybe more like a pop sound in some aspects, and a ballad kind of influence that on some of the tracks people might not be expecting. So I'm really excited to see what the reaction's going to be to that. But it's a fun process though. I always kind of think, okay, there's some challenges that come up, but oh my goodness, that's my dad there in studio with me.
Isn't
Oh,
that
he's
terrific?
going to be so chuffed when he sees that.
Is it that this is a very proud moment, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So he came into studio at me, I think, for 2 or 3 of the days. And yeah, he's just like such a music enthusiast, and such a support. So it was so nice to have him in there. And
What's his
sure,
first name?
Irwin.
Hello,
Irwin, yeah.
Erwin. You've got a
So
very talented daughter here. I'm sure he
yeah, and
knows that. Yeah.
he was hands on as well, last minute kind of critique changes and that type of thing. So really valued having him as an extra set of ears, because they say parents always know best. So
Yes, they
but yeah,
do.
we recorded the vocals there in studio with Brian McCrane. So Brian McCrane's just amazing. He's worked with just so many artists like the Celtic Irish tenors, Celtic Woman. He's just an amazing guy. So felt very lucky to be in studio with him. Actually, I think that day it was snowing basically outside, and I didn't know if I was going to get to the studio because there were these like little Irish country roads to get to the studio, and there was ice everywhere. So
Oof.
yeah, you can see in that photo there, I'm just having such a fun time.
Do you have a preference? Do you like being in the studio or do you prefer being on stage? You know, some people love studio and some people like being on stage around everybody and celebrating having an audience to work with and work off of. How about for you, Victoria?
Oh, again, you're very good with these questions. I'm loving
Thank you
these
very
questions.
much.
Yeah. Well, personally, I love being on a stage because it's just that like fresh, raw, natural emotion, you know, and every delivery of a song is going to be different and every reaction from the audience is going to be different. I love chatting to the audience after and, you know, hearing what their favorite song was or what moved them. I know it's strange, but it's always nearly a good thing when someone comes up to you crying afterwards,
Yes,
because,
yes.
you know, if you've kind of delivered a performance that can move people in that way, you kind of know that you're doing your job right and they're resonating with your songs, which is amazing as a songwriter when that happens. But I really enjoy being in studio. I find it very kind of like relaxing and fun. Like I never feel too much pressure on myself in the studio. You know, it's quite creative, you know, that kind of way, seeing what works, changing things on the spot. Yeah, so well, to be honest, I just kind of I love everything about the music industry, really, you know, that kind of way. And I think that's you know, what keeps me going as well, because, you know, if there's not a concert coming up, I'm really happy to be songwriting. Or I love kind of, as you said, I'm like self-managed and that type of thing. So with my master's degree in like creative entrepreneurship, I really love the kind of all-rounded aspect and, you know, the press and media end of things, because I have a background in, you know, radio production and that type of thing. So yeah, I just love all the different factors to it. So that's always a good sign, I think.
And, you know, the Grammy shortlist situation is something very big. And to have had that happen on a couple of pieces of the material here, tell us about that when you heard that was the case.
Yeah, that was so exciting because Ireland was in a full-on lockdown, which in some ways was a little frustrating because it was kind of the first main intense lockdown in Ireland, and then the second one. So the only like slight unfortunate thing was there wasn't like the opportunity to really get out singing the songs in Ireland, which is, you know, it's just one of those things. But yeah, obviously the Irish press and media really took up on it. It was, you know, a good news, positive story, especially when they were like my debut singles, you know. That was really exciting. Also, like Tarlum, a song in Irish, you know, really waving that like Irish language flag and seeing it just get a bit of international recognition was really, really exciting. Yeah, it feels, I suppose, still a bit surreal, but sure, bring on another one hopefully sometime. We'll see how this album does.
Right, exactly. On so many different levels. You know, there's been a lot of wonderful commentary as well about you and from the newspapers, from television, from people in the industry, from fans. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's just lovely. Like most recently Daniel O'Donnell, who just, oh my
Oh
goodness, isn't he
boy.
just fabulous?
I'd
He
love
just,
to get him on the show if you have any
oh
contact. I've interviewed him so many times on PBS over the years, and he's probably the one Irish artist that I hadn't had on this show yet. We've had you know, Phil Coulter, James Galway, all the others, but he's got such an incredible following, doesn't he? And
yeah, absolutely. And he has a column in one of the newspapers in Ireland, and he wrote a feature on me recently and just said some really nice things. And just when it was him writing it, he just has, I think, as a person, just a gift with how he words things, you know, that kind of way. And I felt really honored that he had said nice things about me and wrote about me. That was just really lovely.
You
But
know,
Phil Coulter is
oh,
what
Phil
a
Coulter, yeah.
star. Absolutely
Oh,
love him. I've had the pleasure to meet him a few times and go
really
to his
amazing.
shows here in Dublin. So yeah.
If you look back in the archives on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, you can see all of our episodes, past guests, but you can see Celtic Woman, Celtic Thunder, Sir James Galway, Lady Jane Galway. They've been on the show, and they were coming to me from around Christmas time from their home in Switzerland, which was beautiful. And they sang live, and it was really amazing. Well, no, didn't sing live. They played the flutes together.
Oh, what a treat.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Phil Coulter did piano, and he was a guest, and you could see all of like the gold records around, or like, and he's penned so much material, and you know, and appreciate as a songwriter yourself. One of my favorites is The Old Man, that song about the old
Okay.
man that
Yeah.
so many have sung, and John McDermott sang it at a time when his father had passed for real, and it was a very beautiful, touching thing. And you know, when you come out with a song that really moves people, it's something special, and you know that as a songwriter, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love Phil Coulter's. He wrote like the main sports anthem for here in Ireland, Ireland's Call, which is, you know, it's
Yes.
the rugby anthem and that type of thing. And not everyone knows that he wrote that, but I actually saw him perform it live in concert as well, just there a few months ago. And yeah, it was just, yeah, he's really inspiring as well. And I've met him a few times. He's just very generous with his time, very humble in terms of, you know, all he's achieved. I've read his book as well. I'd really recommend.
Yes, he sent me that. Oh
Yeah,
boy, that is a real page turner. It's a fabulous book, isn't it?
it is so good. Yeah, such great stories of, you know, his time in LA and you know, all just great insight as well. And in terms of his like dedication and commitment to his work as well.
We have a clip here, which is actually the music video. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that? The making of that?
So is the Tarlum video. It's was filmed in the Wicklow Mountains. Can you believe it was filmed in like it was like I don't know what the equivalent is in America actually, but it was like 1 degree Celsius in Ireland. So
That
basically
would
snowing.
be
Yeah.
Independence Falls, Minnesota,
Yeah.
by the
So
Canada
snowing.
border. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so there was like hail and wind and snow and all this type of thing coming at me. So I was nearly afraid I was going to get hypothermia by the end of it, but thankfully I didn't. But we just have such gorgeous scenery here in Ireland. So it was just that thing that, you know, it was the time of year the video needed to be made, and I really wanted to film it in the Wicklow Mountains. You know, and obviously the song Tarlum, obviously it's in Irish, but the lyrics are very much about like nature and mountains and forestry and you know, how we can be moved and inspired by nature. So it was very important for me that I showcased great Irish landscape as part of the video. Yeah, and it was a fun time. There was like a lot of commitment to from myself and the videographer in terms of those extreme cold conditions.
Oh, yeah.
I think I was like shaking by the end of
Were
it.
you really?
People don't realize that in video.
That's amazing. See what everybody goes through to bring you the great entertainment, our lovely viewers and everybody watching around the world. She was freezing her fingers off. The videographer was getting frostbite, but they wanted to get it done to entertain and inspire you and put a smile on your face, right?
That's it. Yeah.
If they
And to
only knew the
showcase,
behind the scenes sometimes of all these things,
yeah,
what it takes
showcasing Irish tourism at its best.
at its best, right? Next time she'll be at the Cliffs of Moher,
That's it.
and it'll be in the summertime.
Yes. Much better time of year to do
I
it.
tell you. So how long did it take to actually put it together?
And we actually did the video in just a few hours.
Did you
Obviously,
really?
with the cold conditions, we were determined to get it done as well. But we had, made a good plan of what we wanted to achieve and everything. And, had scouted out the locations in advance. So, yeah, it was just, yeah, it was a good, fun time. It's been well received. And yeah, looking forward to doing more videos as well in terms of the album as well. Trying to showcase a little bit of the Irish scenery and landscapes that we're just really, really lucky to have here in this country.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful, beautiful country on so many levels. Absolutely. We'll take a look at that right now. Here it is, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series coming to you from the United States of America. Yes, across the big pond here in the New York area, along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. And our very special guest, Victoria Johnston, coming to us from lovely Dublin, Ireland. And for those watching this on St. Patrick's Day weekend, happy St. Patrick's Day weekend from Jim Masters and Victoria Johnston to
Yep.
all of you, and enjoy.
Respect
Wow. How does it make you feel when you see it, huh? It's
Yeah, it's nice.
fantastic.
Yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed watching that. Yeah, sometimes when you haven't watched it as a viewer as well in a little while, it's nice to see it. Yeah, no, I've really, really great fun memories of making that. So
And now they know that you were freezing and you were cold, but you wouldn't know it at all from your expressions. And
good.
it
Yeah.
adds some
Power
sort
of
of a
the true. Yeah.
right, exactly. It adds some sort of realness to it and authenticity to it, knowing as the wind is blowing through your hair, and it works beautifully for the song, and the song is fantastic, and your voice is extraordinarily beautiful.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's so kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yeah, to me anyway, it's a very special song and holds a very, very special place in my heart. So just very, very grateful for yeah, the people that are enjoying it. And I actually had this lady come up to me and she said, you're the girl that my daughter says is the princess in the green dress." And I was like, "Oh, they've obviously seen the Tarlum video." So,
Exactly. Yes, right? That is
yeah,
amazing,
so that
huh?
was very, very sweet to hear.
Isn't that beautiful? That's right. I remember a story. There was these two women who were in a store, and they were looking at, I guess, some images of Mary Poppins that were in the store. Like there was a big cutout, and everything was Mary Poppins. And Julie Andrews was in the store with her young daughter at the time, and the two women were looking at the Mary Poppins material, probably like a display or something promoting the movie. And Julie's young daughter, if the story goes right, I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but the essence of it is that her young daughter heard the two women talking about Mary Poppins, and that being Julie Andrews and all. And Julie Andrews' young little daughter at the time went up to the women and said to the women, um, and this story came from Julie herself, "Oh, um, Mary Poppins, that's my mommy. That's my mommy." And the two women looked at each other like, isn't that darling? That little girl thinks that her mother is Mary Poppins, when in reality, her mother's Julie Andrews, who's like standing right over there. Her mother
Yeah,
really was Mary
so
Poppins.
good. So good. Yeah, I actually Julie Andrews, speaking of, I just need to get this story. And she came to Dublin a few years ago because we were doing a special anniversary screening of The Sound of Music as part of like the Dublin International Film Festival. So me and my family, we got tickets to go. And I feel there's very few people that can say they got to watch a bit of The Sound of Music with Julie Andrews in the same room. So
Isn't that amazing?
that was because I just grew up absolutely adoring her in The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins. She's just amazing. So really enjoyed that story. That's a great one.
Isn't that amazing? I tell you, it was really, we were on a TV shoot once, and for a travel show that I host, and she was at a restaurant where we were filming, we were highlighting the restaurant, and she had just, they were having dinner because she was directing a play at the Goodspeed Opera House, which is located in Essex, Connecticut. Well known, beautiful place. A lot of things either go from Broadway to there, or they start there and they end up on Broadway. And she was there directing, and then they were having dinner at the place we were filming and celebrating, and got a chance to chat with her. Warm, funny, beautiful, and I can listen to her talk all day long. Just
Wow.
that beautiful accent, that British, that English accent, and her version of it, because there's different versions depending, of
Yeah.
course, on where you live.
Mhm.
Um, One of the funny things about that in accents, I've mentioned it a couple of times on this show, you'll appreciate this as well. Uh, Growing up, my father has always said, my father, born here in the United States, in New York, actually in New York City, in what was an Irish Italian neighborhood, but it's still Irish and Italian, but now has Greek and Portuguese. It's a beautiful area. It's called Astoria, and it's where Tony Bennett, the famous singer, came from, just 2 blocks away, and also where the Steinway pianos are made on
Wow.
Street there in New York. So really a lot of history and a lot of connection. And as a kid, I would always hear my father, and still today, say film, as opposed to film.
Yes.
So I've shared this a couple of times with some Irish guests where I would always say to my dad, what's film? He said, yeah, film, goes into the camera, you take the photos. Oh, you mean film? And yeah, film. So I had no idea I was a kid, but then later on in years, I was on television here in the States interviewing on PBS Ronan Tynan from the
Oh.
Irish Tenors. And he's talking about picture taking and paparazzi and all. And he said, film. And I'm looking at him and I couldn't acknowledge it because we're on television and we're talking about him and the concert special that we were airing at the time and all of that. And he said, film. And I'm like, where did I hear that before? So it's there's parts of Ireland where they add that extra syllable and say film,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, do you
And
say
even
film or film?
I say film. Yeah,
Film.
I'm the same as you.
Is that more Northern Ireland that says film? Or it depends, I
It
guess.
might be, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try and do a Northern Ireland accent to
It's a whole
see
lot,
what that
yeah.
would sound like, but
It's it's a whole other sound,
we need to
right?
get Daniel O'Donnell on here. We'll see
Daniel
what
O'Donnell will do it. I heard a little of Phil Coulter. Damien McGinty has a little of it. Yeah, it's really cool. Now, you wanted to sing, with it being St. Patrick's Day weekend at the time of this broadcast, and again, this will be archived, everybody. So if you came in late, joined us late, welcome. Happy St. Patrick's Day weekend. Our very special, illustrious guest, chart-topping singer-songwriter and award-winning composer is Victoria Johnston, coming to us from her wonderful studio there in Dublin, Ireland. You wanted to share something with our audience and sing a little something, right? What did you want to
Yeah, sure, why
sprinkle in?
not? It's St. Patrick's weekend, so, I'm gonna pick a note out of the top of my head here. I
That's it.
don't have the keyboard with me, but, how about a little chorus from the Irish song "Shoot a Room" that hopefully people know, and if you're watching, obviously sing along. Let's go. So,
What is the
shoot
history of the song
oh,
for those watching who don't know?
yeah, so the history of this song, it's really like obviously it's like a folk Irish song, really traditional song. It's all about I suppose someone speaking to their love, saying, go, go, walk my love. I think the chorus is go quietly, go peacefully, may you go safely, my darling. So that's kind of the essence
And
of the
that's a
Irish part of
that's
the
a
song.
real old traditional Irish song, huh?
Absolutely. So here I go. So shoo, let's go with that note.
All right. We'll
uh,
do 3, 2, 1. Here is Victoria.
shoo, 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 la, room. Shulga sakiraga shulga kyun. Shulga dar saga seli lam. Miskat yahi to my warning slow. There you go. Little
Very
taste of
nice.
Ireland, Dublin.
So for the audience watching who's not familiar with Irish or Gaelic, what were you actually saying?
Yeah, so in essence, it's saying, go, my love, go quietly, peacefully. I think the next bit is, go and fly with me and may we go safely, my darling. Now, I'm not a full Gaeilgeoir, but I think I'm fairly accurate in that.
Are there any, thank you for doing that, just so they can hear some of your voice. And it's so beautiful to hear anything you sing. You can sing the phone book, and I think people would enjoy it. Rappers on, peas and carrots cans, they'd probably love it. And it is beautiful. And thanks for doing that for us. We really appreciate that. Are there places that you dream of performing around the world, venues where that's always been a dream for you to want to be on that stage, either as a solo artist or with the group Celtic Calling, or just whatever the case, brought in with others elsewhere? Uh, is there a dream list for you of some
That I
venues?
love that question. Yeah, I'm someone I like to dream big, and even with I'm kind of like into dreaming big, really into like everyone in whatever they're doing, just like raising their expectations. So if anyone's kind of thinking of whatever project they're working on their life, just I always encourage people dream big, raise your expectations, and yeah, just going for it, working hard as well. Like my motto is always like give 150% to whatever you do, not just 100%. 100% isn't good enough. Like obviously it would be a dream of mine to go to America and do some of the big stages there, like Carnegie
Carnegie
Hall,
Hall, yeah.
Radio City, getting to LA. I would love to get the opportunity to perform on some of the main stages in America. That would be a personal big dream of mine. But I've been lucky enough already to do some great stages here in Ireland, and some of the most iconic even cathedrals like St. Patrick's Cathedral. We were singing Celtic Calling, were singing there. The cathedral was sold out. We went to London to the Irish Cultural Centre in London, got a great reception there. So yeah, I will go wherever this journey takes me. But yeah, if I was to pick one or two places, I think I just have a personal heart for New York City. So if Carnegie or Radio Hall or whatever ever come knocking, I'll be there.
Oh, yes. Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That is really incredible. What are some other things that you are excited about that you have coming up?
Yeah, well, really, I think it's just the realization that the album is going to be out, and all the kind of work that's going into that, like quietly and steadily in the background for, a year. There's so much planning that goes into that. Like anyone that's an independent artist that doesn't have a label behind them will know it's a huge expense as well.
Even the cover of it, just designing the cover and all of that,
Yeah,
is that still being tweaked and worked on? And
yeah, the cover is finished now.
is it?
The artwork has been signed off on. It's going to the printing, CD pressing
Oh,
distributor this
great.
week. So that's so exciting. I'll have to send you a copy of
Yeah,
it.
I'd love to see that. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's just I'm just kind of taking nearly every week at a time at the moment, and just very grateful for whatever opportunities come up along the way. But yeah, the end of May, I suppose, is it's all work towards that at the moment, and then off the back of that, we'll just see what comes along.
absolutely. This is a terrific shot as well.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun one actually. That was it's kind of like a lime green satiny kind of suit, and yeah, it just kind of blended in nicely with that scenery there. So
This one's terrific. The bench. Yeah.
yeah, the good orange jumper there again, and the skirt was from a kind of Irish store, independent store in Dublin city centre. So all in pink, my favorite color at the moment.
Is the pink the favorite color?
That's it, yeah.
That's it, right?
Keeping cozy in Ireland there.
And this too, fantastic. That's
Oh
a
yeah,
great
that was
shot too, but
exciting.
that's quite an honor, huh?
Yeah, that was literally before my debut singles ever came out. Hot Press got listening to them ahead of their release, and before I'd even released any music, what they heard, they tipped me for what was it? It was artist and music to watch for for that coming year. So
I mentioned the composing. We've been talking a lot about the singing and the performance and things of that nature. But do you also like composing music for others, writing music for others?
Yeah, there's a few songs, to be honest. There's a few songs that I have here that I like to write in a lot of different genres as well. So I have a few songs sitting here, and I'm kind of like, oh, if I can hear Dolly Parton singing this, that kind of way. Sometimes you write something and you just kind of know that the style you've written in just wouldn't be potentially something you'd release, but it might really suit another artist really well. That is an area that I would like to move further into. Again, it's just trying to like build the right connections in the industry for songwriting for other artists to come about. But yeah, there's definitely some songs here that I'm kind of like, okay, I feel that another artist would potentially just bring the right kind of tone in their voice to this song. But yeah, so if Dolly Parton's watching and wants to get in touch,
Dolly Parton.
I have a few songs here that I think would really suit her.
It's really amazing, and some people find it interesting who don't know. I've been very attuned with it. Is the love in Ireland, and I would probably say the UK in general, for folk music and country music as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I suppose I would have naturally more of like the Celtic Irish classical tone to my voice rather than the real country sound. But I do find myself writing songs that I can hear that real kind of American country tone coming through them. Yeah, so definitely have a bit of a catalog building here, but maybe Celtic Calling or something we could do an interpretation of them and see if how they're received in America. Or yeah, if anyone has Dolly's number,
Dolly, give us a shout, Dolly. Any other artists and folks that you would love to collaborate with that are on sort of your Victoria dream list?
Ooh, that would be so nice. Goodness, some of the kind of like I always had this dream of like getting to duet with like obviously he's not too well at the moment, but with Neil Diamond,
Oh yeah.
Leonard Cohen, obviously he's not with us anymore. But in terms of up and coming artists, like how fun would it be to do something with Niall Horan, and he's just waving the flag for Ireland so well in everything he's doing at the moment. Nathan Carter, I think I'd really enjoy doing something with him.
He's been with us twice.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yes, you'll have to go back and binge the episodes. He was just with us just a few months back. And then before I interviewed him again here on television in America, and then he came on the show twice. And what a following he has too, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know that yeah, he's just a really great guy, and he comes across as just a lovely person. I haven't had the opportunity to meet him yet, but hopefully maybe one day. And yeah, I really like his tone, and he really gets the crowd going. Everyone has a really good time, I think, at his gigs.
Absolutely. I'd love to have you back on the show, but also I'd love to, if there's a way to have Celtic Calling join us, the
Oh
other
yeah,
ladies,
that
and
would be wonderful.
because
Yes.
we do that, we can have more than one guest on at a time, and that would be great to have each of you with us, and we have some Irish crack and fun and great
They would
conversation.
love that. Yeah, the girls would be well up for that, I'm sure. And Chris, our guitarist, he's probably the most amazing guitarist I've ever come across. So
How
we're
did you
very
guys assemble? How did you all, you're a founding member. How did you put it together?
yeah, it was just musicians that I had worked with previously in different groups or on different projects. And I just really liked, the vocal blend of myself, Rachel, and Eilish, of our voices together. And then Chris, as I said, he's just the most skilled guitarist that I've come across. So I was delighted when everyone was interested and excited to come on board the vision I had for this group. And yeah, we actually only like officially launched at the end of last summer, you know, that kind of way. So it's been an exciting time. It's an exciting and busy time. We've been doing stuff for you know, Irish tourism kind of things. We did a headline show for National Heritage Week here in Ireland, and we've done you know, some events and things with ambassadors and that type of thing. So yeah, it's an exciting time, and I actually love that, you know, when you're a solo artist and when you're the sole songwriter for yourself, and when everything's you're doing everything independently, it's lovely to come with a group as well, and kind of be creative in a group sense as well, you know, that kind of way. So I feel really lucky that I have opportunities to be working in both spheres. Yeah.
Isn't that fantastic?
I
So,
love it. I love it.
and what, when you are creating the music, what inspires you, Victoria? Are you an observer of life? I ask that sometimes of some of the guests. Are you always, is your radar always on? Are you always observing life and feeling life and living it? And through the experiences of what you witness, what you experience, what you feel, what you see, what you hear, does that weave into the fabric of your songs?
It depends. Like, I would definitely be inspired a lot by the west coast of Ireland in terms of the scenery, the sea, the landscapes, like just what's typical to, I suppose, Irish landscapes. So I get it inspired a lot by Irish scenery. And sometimes a song will just literally come to you and you just are like, okay, I just have to write all of this down. Or it might be a situation you faced that you're reflecting on.
Yeah.
It can be very, very different. And I think on this album, there is a broad scope in terms of that. There is like reflection, there's you know, looking to the future in terms of ambitions, hope, positivity. That was something I really wanted to get across in this album, is encouraging messages, positive messages, messages of hope, music that would be like uplifting. So that's something I feel quite passionate in writing about as well. Because yeah, I think everyone needs messages of encouragement, and I think music is a really powerful medium to reach people in that way.
It really is. It's also, as we mentioned on the show, it's very healing. It's a universal language,
Yeah.
and it can make you feel good on many different levels. And I think a lot of people during the crazy times we've had the last few years have been turning to nostalgic things, old movies, comedies, things that make them feel good, but also good music that makes them, some of the old school music and all the different genres, some of the newer music, and just to remind themselves of what life's all about and the importance of life, and that there is beauty in art, and you are an artist on many different levels with the incredible skill and education and background and love for what you do, as I love what I do too. When you love what you do, it's a sweet spot. It's a fantastic place to be, because what you're delivering in terms of your craft and your creations, people know come from your true heart and soul when you truly love what you're doing. And
Yeah, and I
that's
think
important.
yeah, it so is. And I think you know, some people say, oh, well, like, what's your songwriting formula? Or, you know, I do not have one, you know, that kind of way. I always just feel really grateful that it just, you know, thankfully I don't sit down with an agenda, you know, that kind of way. Obviously there might be like a theme or something that might be influenced with me, but yeah, it's just I feel really lucky that it's just pours out of me, you know, that kind of way. I don't really go at it with a structured formula. that
Yeah.
maybe some other composers and songwriters go with. So yeah.
Yeah. We had the iconic singer-songwriter Melissa Manchester a couple of times on our show, and she said that there are times where she is just walking through her house, or she took a quick nap or something and she's waking up out of sleep, and all of a sudden she's had extraordinary inspiration, and she will run right to her piano, right to her tape recorder, press record, and start working out whatever is flowing through her
Yeah.
on piano. And she'll, as that inspiration is hitting her, she's doing it and working it out on the piano and recording it. So that
Yeah.
way there, it doesn't become fleeting and it doesn't wither
Yeah. You don't
away. Do you do
forget it.
that too? Have you had that happen
I have
where
done that many a time. Yes. And it's always quite exciting as well when that happens. Obviously some songs you might write a verse and you could feel inspired at that moment to write that verse. You might come back another day and write another verse. Otherwise, sometimes I've been just really lucky that a whole song has just like arrived nearly fully formed, and you can just write it all down, all the melodies, all the chords, all the lyrics. It just flows out of you. So it's kind of, I suppose, a bit more rare when that happens, but it's always like a wow moment when you're in a situation like that.
what are some of the blessings and joys in your life that continue you forging ahead in this industry, which is a phenomenal industry, but also can be demanding and unpredictable? The music industry has changed and evolved over the years here and around the world. What are some of those blessings and joys that you turn to in your life that to give you that inspiration and grounding to do what you do and do so beautifully?
Yeah, I think generally I'm lucky to I look on the joy and positive side of life. Thankfully that's a big influence in terms of my character and disposition. And I just love spending time with friends and family. And I'm really into nature, getting out, like walking, hiking. Thankfully in Ireland, we, Dublin, it's on the coastline. But yeah, like obviously people face like huge challenges, and we all face challenges at different times. But I think, yeah, generally in life, good always will outweigh the bad, and we need to keep focused on that. And they always say, what's that saying? A brighter day is always coming, that kind of way. And I think when you look back on your life through things you've overcome, and then you are in a moment and you're like, oh my goodness, like, isn't it amazing that like this is happening today? I never thought this would happen, that kind of way. And it's exciting, isn't it? Some people are like, oh, I'd love to know what's going to happen next, but that would take the excitement out of the journey.
So beautifully said, Victoria. Really so true, and just really confirms the essence of the spirited, and passionate, and compassionate person you are. And again, you're a craftsperson. You're very talented, and your voice is extraordinary. And you're beloved. Your people love your songs, chart topping, award winning, Grammy shortlisted, all of these great titles. Not why you do what you do. You do it because it's something that is in your DNA and you love. And thanks so much for sharing a bit of yourself, especially on this beautiful, Irish celebratory weekend of St. Patrick's Day, which is so important around the world, here in America, in Ireland, and elsewhere, Australia, everywhere. This really was terrific, getting a chance to welcome you to our series, The Jim Master Show, hearing a little bit more about your early beginnings, the things that motivate you, some of the wonderful experiences that you've had, continue to have, the new music that's coming out, the single we showed, and the CD, and so much more. This really was fantastic. And I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and
Oh,
that
it
you
was
enjoyed the
so
time with me.
fun. Yeah. Oh, such a good time. Thank you so much for having me. Such a joy to be on with you. And yeah, absolute pleasure chatting to you. And really, really liked the conversation and questions as well. Really good.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And that's what I say. These are not interviews. We call these conversations. And I think conversations are much more interactive. Our viewers have been commenting throughout the show. We love them. Thanks for all the comments, everybody, the enthusiasm. We hope you're having a great holiday weekend as well. Thanks for the levity and all the wonderful comments. And we encourage folks, if you enjoyed this episode, give it a like on our YouTube channel. Leave a comment in the comments section underneath the episode. That helps us grow. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, we'd love it if you did that as well. And I thank you so very much. As much as you've had that good time with me, I've certainly had an amazing time with you. And we thank you. And of course, our dear mutual friend, Anita, who we love as well. She's wonderful and celebrating the Irish this weekend as well. Thanks so much. And spread the word about our show. We'd love to have you back. We'd love to have Celtic Calling join us. That would be cool and fun. And let everybody know about our series. We'd appreciate that. It takes a village, doesn't it?
It does. And just I'll leave you with Gurv Mila Mahagut. Thank you so much. A little bit of Irish there
I love that.
to round it off.
I love that. Well, slancha. You be well, my friend. And thanks so much, Victoria, for stopping by the Jim Masters Show series here in America. We really, really appreciate it. And wish you continued blessing and joy and continued success. And let's stay in touch. We'll definitely have you back and have Celtic Calling join us and have more fun on the show.
Yes. Mwah. Kisses from Ireland.
Kisses from America. Happy St. Patrick's Day weekend and congratulations on all.
Thanks.
We'll see you again soon. Cheers. Isn't she fantastic? Wow. You got some music. You got some great Irish crack. And of course, tremendous conversation, poignant moments, everything we like to do here on the Jim Masters Show. And coming to you from each side of the big pond, from here in America, in the New York and New England area, and right across the beautiful pond, which of course is the Atlantic Ocean, from Dublin, Ireland, Victoria Johnston joining us, chart-topping singer and songwriter, as well as award-winning composer, Grammy shortlisted. Really amazing. And I love her spirit. I love her personality. Her voice, you got a chance to hear, is really beautiful. Very articulate and warm and powerful voice that she has. And she was excited to come on the Jim Masters Show. We were excited to have her here. And maybe this is the first time you've discovered her. Maybe she's just somebody brand new, and now you have fallen in love with what she represents, what she's about, her talent. And maybe you've known her from Celtic Calling, the group. Whatever the case may be, we always have a wonderful time with all of the guests that come in from Hollywood, Broadway, television, film, music, stage, sports, comedy, inspiration, science and nature, health and wellness, life in general, music, and more here on the Jim Masters Show. If this was your first time joining us, welcome. We have viewers that watch from all around the world. We have an international audience called our Lovely Squad. And we would really love to hear from you. So do leave a comment for us on our YouTube channel. If you left one in our chat room, the Lovely Hole chat room, thank you so much. But what really helps us is when you give us a like and when you leave a comment. You know why? Well, of course, we feel good when you do that, and we sincerely appreciate when you do that. But the way it works with YouTube, with their computerized algorithm, when there are likes and comments left on the episodes on the channel, they love that too at good old YouTube, and they take the episode and they let more people see it. The algorithm says, we kind of like that. And they spread the opportunity for this show we just did and all of the episodes of our series to be seen by more people around the world just by you giving it a like and leaving a comment for us. So if you enjoyed it, you have some fun with us on this St. Patrick's Day weekend. If you are watching on St. Patrick's Day weekend as this is airing, or you're watching this later on, any time of the year, 24/7, 365, we hope you thoroughly enjoyed the conversation and the music. And as I say, we call these conversations. These are not Well, they're interviews, but not necessarily. We always have a good time with all of you. First time watching, welcome. We hope you'll stop by. We have so many great guests coming up, so many guests that have been through our show. Binge watch hundreds of episodes. You'll get a chance to really enjoy some great conversations, lots of levity, music, all kinds of things that we've experienced here on our show. And again, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. There is a thumbs up icon on the YouTube channel that looks like this. Just click that. Well, maybe it's not as sparkly and golden as ours is, but definitely like and comment. And don't forget to hit the red subscribe button. We would really appreciate that as well. That means the world to us when you guys do that. And spread the word about our show. That means the world to us as well. We thank our illustrious guest. Wasn't she terrific? I love having conversations like this. She's got a great sense of humor. She's got a brilliant outlook on life. And we had a lot of fun with Victoria Johnston joining us live from Dublin, Ireland today. Chart-topping singer-songwriter and again, award-winning composer with a big heart and a fabulous spirit. And everybody knows that. And we celebrate her joining us here on the Jim Masters Show series. This, again, was the single that we were talking about. Keep a lookout for the album. You can also follow her, of course, like you can follow me everywhere, sort of like the Phil Collins song, Follow You, Follow Me. Her website is basically her name with the word official. It's victoriajohnstonofficial.com. You can check out the website. There's photos, there's press, there's all kinds of cool things coming up and things that she has done. And you can learn more about her on her website as well. And of course, the music, Spotify, iTunes, all of the usual places that you would expect music to be when that is out. Her debut album. How cool that she wanted to share that exclusively here on the Jim Masters Show, her debut album. That's very exciting when it's a debut album or a debut anything, right? This was her debut on JMS, on the Jim Masters Show series, but it won't be her last, and we hope to have her back soon. And also, hopefully real soon, we'll have Victoria with her wonderful colleagues from and her fellow performers in Celtic Calling, which is the group that was formed, and they are amazing. If you've never heard Celtic Calling, she was talking about them. There they are there. And the three ladies, and of course, the brilliant guitarist, and there are the three, the trifecta right there. Again, some fantastic conversation we've had. You can look for the music everywhere and some wonderful stories of behind the scenes of the album, making of music. There she is with her dad. Really, really great. And I loved her commentary about the various outfits. That was fun too. And just really a great conversation. That's the outfit she wore today. I know it looks dark on your screens, but it is dark green, St. Patrick's Day. And what I'm wearing has green and blue in it as well. And this was a lot of fun. You're watching the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series coming to you from America, beaming all around the world. One more time, we thank Victoria, and we thank all of you. As you guys know, we don't say goodbye around here. We say see you later, ciao, cheers, sláinte, sayonara, shalom, hejda, avida zain, take care, be well, moi loop. We love you all. Thanks for being with us on this episode. And one other thing that we'd like to do, we say relax. The world is fast-paced. The world can be crazy and funky and unpredictable. Listen to some good music. Stop by the Jim Masters Show. Binge watch the past episodes. Join us for upcoming episodes. Tell everybody you know about our show. You can share the links on your social media. You can find me as well on all the social media, Jim Masters TV, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But don't forget to relax. Love one another. Take care of one another. And be sure and take care of yourself. So, James, Jim, Jimmy, Seamus, whatever you would like to call me this weekend, this is Jim Masters thanking you for your time this time till next time right here on the Jim Masters Show series. We love having you guys here. Thanks for your enthusiasm, your passion, your support. Don't forget, you can always support us. There is a little heart icon on our YouTube channel. It is called Super Thanks. It's on all the episodes. If you click that, you can support what we're doing, all of this content, hundreds and hundreds of guests, thousands of hours of shows, all for you here exclusively. Thanks for being with us one more time. A very happy St. Patrick's Day weekend, everybody, and enjoy. Sláinte, cheers, be well. We'll see you on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show. Cheers.